Welcome to another exciting episode of The Office. Thank you so very much for staying with us. Did you know conflict is not always bad? But if you're anything like me and you see conflict, you run away from it. But we have others see conflict, take out their cell phones and start to record. But in the workplace, conflict management is an area of concern because employers realize that most times conflict ends in violence and it results in a significant loss to the organization. How do we actually manage conflict? How do we navigate the differences that we are inherently going to encounter? This evening, we're joined by a lovely guest who is going to help us understand the subtle nuances as it relates to conflict management and so much more. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Office is brought to you by Renwick & Company Limited, Multi-Graphics powered by Expert Group and the Goddard Catering Group.
The business environment is rapidly evolving. We must continually adapt to remain competitive. At HRWise, we help businesses create and sustain a competitive advantage through their people. Let us help you develop solutions for recruiting and selecting the right talent, improving employee engagement, managing performance, and much more. Realize the true potential of your workforce. Harness the power of your people. HRWise, we partner for success.
Hi, I'm Janika Simon. Join me Wednesdays at 9 p.m. where, for an hour a week, we'll dig into stories of relevance, covering local, roaming regional, and exploring international. To help me break it all down, I'll talk to the experts about who's doing right and what's going wrong. And then I'll take your calls. Give me your views on the topic of the week. Celebration or censure? Journalist. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. only on Choice TV.
I'm often asked, what's the best part of my job? And I'm quick to say, it's the tasty part. The presentation, the cooking, the creativity, the quality. The moment I peek to see another satisfied guest and client in all possible settings. Cutting, biting, sharing, and smiling, knowing our team at GCG events is simply outstanding.
A great deal on my furniture. Great stuff, super strong, best thing on the market.
Your furniture says a lot about your business. For best quality, durability, and style, Global Office Furniture from Renwick is the only choice for any serious business. Don't be fooled by cheap supplies from other commercial houses. Let Global Furniture speak for your business. Think Renwick & Company. Think global, because value is always in style.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. I'm very pleased to be joined by my co-host and Managing Director of HRWise, Ms. Gertie Paul, who will be introducing to us our guest.
Thanks, Dee. In today's episode, we touch on a very important topic, conflicts, and I'm sure many persons can relate to this topic. So today we're joined by someone who has actually studied conflict management and who is in an excellent position to give us some guidance and some tips about how we can really manage conflict within the workplace. So I'm pleased to introduce our guest today, Ms. Lisa Evans. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Garati.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
Excellent. So you have actually decided to study conflict.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your background and why you chose this field.
Okay, well, it was in the year 2008. I was actually studying purely law that I came across the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators course in international arbitration, and I decided to do that course. And in doing the course, I found out that that was only one aspect of alternative dispute resolution, which is a body of rules that covers all the methods to settle disputes outside of court,
right,
privately. And I was like, wow, this is something that my nation needs. This is something that I can fit into with my personality and my passion, and I saw so many avenues, and I said, let's go for it, Lisa, let's go for it.
That's interesting, because looking at your background, I see that you actually studied Christian leadership.
Yes.
And you also did some professional training courses, also did some marketing, and
yes.
you also write poetry.
Yes, I do write poetry. Yes.
So why, you know, that decision to go in that direction? Because you've started your own business.
Yes.
Called the Resolvers.
Yes.
So, you know, tell us, why did you choose this particular field to broaden your profession, I guess, your career? And why did you choose to specialize in this particular area?
I chose that particular area because there's a need for it in St. Lucia. I recognize that many people didn't know much about alternative dispute resolution as an option for them to settle disputes. And I realize also internationally, this is where the world is moving. All organizations are putting in alternative dispute resolution clauses into contracts. They're developing systems called dispute resolution systems within commercial businesses. So we in the Caribbean, we in St. Lucia needed to get on track with that, and this is why I decided to go that route.
Well, that's excellent, because I think we need that sort of thing, especially now. Understanding, you know, if we look at what's happening in St. Lucia right now, yes, we can clearly see an increase in, you know, anger issues,
yes,
leading to conflict situations, and some of them actually end in violence. And I mean, if we look at our murder rate last year, it's very
yes,
obvious that we need to find a better way to resolve conflict. So I think it's excellent that you've decided to go in, you know, in that direction.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about your company and how long you've been in operation.
Okay, the Resolvers, I registered it in St. Lucia in 2010, September of that year. And from then I started off doing training. This is what I do most of since that time, because I realized that alternative dispute resolution is sort of new to the nation, is sort of new to the Caribbean. Lawyers may know about it, some other professionals know about it, but the people who need to benefit from it the most didn't know about it. So I had to go on an education campaign, which is what I'm still embarking on. So from 2010 up until now, I went into that. I also partnered with the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Caribbean branch, and so we had our introduction to arbitration in St. Lucia in March of 2011. Thereafter, we were able to establish the St. Lucia chapter officially, and of course the chairmanship was handed over during that time. We had an interim chairman, and we're developing that. Also, I've partnered with and I'm working with a group that is stirring a mediation forum in St. Lucia. So this is what the Resolvers has been involved in: training, conducting mediation sessions privately, and trying to develop an awareness of the area and how it can benefit people, not just through court-connected mediation, but even as a first step for dispute resolution.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. It sounds to me like you guys have been doing quite a bit.
Here and there, yes.
Do you think that generally we are ready for that kind of service, or are we open to it?
Two different questions. I think we are ready for it. All what you mentioned just now is evidence: the rise in crime, the fact that there are anger management issues. That's a readiness. That's an opportunity.
Right.
Are we open to it is another question. Some people are still a bit averse to it. They're not that open to it. Hence the education drive and the training and so on.
Because, you know, some people say they don't like to involve people in their business. You know, if there's a disagreement, it's between them, and they're not necessarily open to, you know, a third party coming in and helping them to find some sort of, you know, amicable resolution. So what has your experience been like? Do you think, I mean, based on the persons who you've worked with, has the experience or the feedback received from them been positive?
Surprisingly, the feedback has been, wow, if I knew about this, I would not have spent money to go to court.
Right.
Oh, wow, I don't have to go to court at case management to be told you need to go to mediation to try to settle my matter.
Right.
They didn't know about it, and just it's refreshing. That's the sort of feedback I've been getting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can definitely see the value in what it is that you offer, and I'm really hoping that, you know, other business places out there see the value in your service, and even individuals, because you work with businesses, but you also work with individuals as well.
Correct.
So I'm hoping that persons will see the need to take advantage of the service that you offer, because I think it's going to be very beneficial to us, you know, as a people generally, based on what's happening now.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think employers can do within their workplaces to avoid conflict or to minimize the impact of conflict? Because we agree that conflict is all around us.
It is.
And we can't necessarily avoid every conflict situation, because in some cases conflict is actually good.
Yes.
So what do you think employers can do to create an environment that minimizes the risk of, you know, conflict situations blowing up?
I think one of the things that employers can do is to really develop a more inclusive environment, because like you rightly pointed, that conflict is all around us. The thing is, when it escalates, it becomes a dispute, and it escalates to the point where there's deadlock, so people become positioned or polarized, so I'm on the left and you on the right. We must be able to accept that people are different, people have different opinions, and also we must learn to express ourselves, because one of the reasons why conflict escalates is that people don't know how to express themselves. People are not assertive enough or at all, and so they bottle up those feelings, and so it comes out as a negative vibe. It rubs off wrongly onto customers because you're upset with your supervisor.
Right.
The customer may feel the brunt of it by your attitude towards them, because once you're upset on the inside, you're not as warm as you used to be. So the customer comes in and they think they did you something, or they turn and they walk out the door. So that's business lost.
Okay, so this has been an interesting conversation so far. But we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we will go into a little more detail about conflict and what it means for us in the workplace and what we can do to address it.
I'm often asked, what's the best part of my job? And I'm quick to say, it's the tasty part. The presentation, the cooking, the creativity, the quality. The moment I peek to see another satisfied guest and client in all possible settings, cutting, biting, sharing, and smiling, knowing our team at GCG Events is simply outstanding.
Great deal on my furniture. Great stuff, super strong, best thing on the market.
Your furniture says a lot about your business. For best quality, durability, and style, Global Office Furniture from Renwick is the only choice for any serious business. Don't be fooled by cheap supplies from other commercial houses. Let Global Furniture speak for your business. Think Renwick and Company. Think global, because value is always in style.
People are a company's single biggest asset and by far your largest expense. So managing your workforce is no easy task. There's productivity, engagement, talent management, discipline, labor laws, and the list goes on. Now there's a simple way with HRWise. The Office, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on Choice TV. Get a head start and see how easy HR can be.
The business environment is rapidly evolving. We must continually adapt to remain competitive. At HRWise, we help businesses create and sustain a competitive advantage through their people. Let us help you develop solutions for recruiting and selecting the right talent, improving employee engagement, managing performance, and much more. Realize the true potential of your workforce. Harness the power of your people. HRWise, we partner for success.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So Lisa, we were talking before about conflict and we wanted to go a little deeper. But tell me, what do you think has contributed to the rise that we're seeing in poor conflict management?
The rise of conflict, or I think violence stemming from conflict, has a root that is beyond just a workplace or commercial or government. It starts in the family. It starts with how people are raised, values, and if values are not those accepted generally, for example, we have good values, bad values. If we have bad values, then these will, obviously show up some point in a person who, well, a child, a human, adult, they will obviously expel that from their behavior. So,
but some people will argue that children may be raised in a good home, they're taught the right values and everything, but they still develop these bad habits and have this anger issue. What do you think are some of the things that would contribute to that, even if you're in the right environment where the values are taught, but persons stray for whatever reason? Why do you think that happens?
Again, what may be valuable to your household? For example, you may have a household where your children can come and share anything with you. They may spend time with you. If they have a little boyfriend or girlfriend, say, hey, mommy this and mommy that. Whereas in another household, that child may want to express that, but they see their parent as aggressive, and so they keep that inside. Or you may have a situation of sibling rivalry. They may perceive that a parent has a favorite, and so that is bottled on the inside, so it's reflected. They may become a bully, or they may see the way one parent abuses the other, whether it's verbally or physically, and they may be saddened about it, and as a form of letting that out, they may do that on the outside. So it goes back to values, and we may say, well, I raised my child, for example, I remember at school that I had a friend, well, a few of them in that situation where their parents provided them with everything, but they felt that their parents were not spending enough time with them. Now, I know that these young persons have grown up to be okay, but someone else may lash out. They may go out there and try to get
different.
Everybody is different.
Your level of resilience, I guess, your mindset and everything will contribute towards the outcome.
Will contribute, definitely.
And unfortunately for us, these problems that stem from, from the childhood stage are brought into the working environment.
Yes.
And so as employers, we now have to deal with these situations.
Yes.
What do you think are the steps that we can take, or perhaps you could share with us some of the methods that you use for actually managing conflict, understanding that there is a history, or there's a process that brought somebody who's very angry to the point that they're at?
One of the things that managers can do, or workplaces could have in place, team activities. I think it's very important for us to know the people that we work with. Why? We spend like at least 8 hours a day. They're like your second family. You leave home, you spend about 8 hours a day with people. Now, if at home you can have conflict between the people you live with, you didn't put the toothbrush there, you dropped your shoe here, why is that sock there, you didn't wash the dishes, they bring these habits into the workplace. But if we spend time getting to know our employees, then we can figure, oh, this person dropped this piece of paper there, but it's not that they wanted me to be a bellhop behind them or to clean up behind them, but it's just a bad habit that they have. So that's one of the things an employer can do to minimize conflict, really understanding the people that you work with.
And I mean, a lot of times conflict stems from poor communication.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that one of the key things would be to address that, because I think regardless of where you are, church, school, wherever,
yes,
workplace, communication top of the list.
Top of the list.
When it comes to,
Yes.
conflict situations. From my experience, I've had to deal with conflict situations that arose out of petty things. And if only the communication was done right, it could have been avoided. So tell us a little bit more about the methods that you would actually use when you're dealing with, when these situations come to you. What are the methods that you'd actually use? Okay,
for me, I remember one particular situation in a workplace where I sensed that there's a bit of toxic waters around, and I wasn't quite sure why. I approach with caution, and I would ask questions. Now, I can be very direct and just ask questions, what's going on? But not everybody may respond the same way. Some people may feel intimidated or annoyed and just shut down. So I pay attention, I ask questions. You can just say, Gertie, have I offended you? Did I do something to you that makes you unhappy? Or if you don't like what I'm doing, just let me know. I'm not going to take it personally.
Right.
That's what I would do. That's the approach I would take. And then put yourself in the other person's shoes. I try as much as possible to think of how I would feel if I were them, and I was speaking the way I'm speaking and what I'm doing to them.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a lesson that I think I was taught from very early. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and understand, or at least think about how would you feel if you were the one on the other end.
Yes.
So I think that goes a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would recommend?
In the workplace, I would say that having a dispute resolution system or dispute management system, whereby if there's conflict, or if managers or supervisors observe something, or if just line staff recognize that there's an issue with a supervisor, that they know, okay, these are the steps. I can I can go to the HR manager, or there's a designated person, or if the organization, because some people they don't trust that speaking to their HR manager or supervisor that it will be confidential.
That is so unfortunate. And I'm happy you raised that, so we're going to take that when we come back from break.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about it. Okay, thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be right back.
The business environment is rapidly evolving. We must continually adapt to remain competitive. At HRWise, we help businesses create and sustain a competitive advantage through their people. Let us help you develop solutions for recruiting and selecting the right talent, improving employee engagement, managing performance, and much more. Realize the true potential of your workforce. Harness the power of your people. HRWise, we partner for success.
Hi, I'm Beverly.
Oh my God. That's what the end of the show. The end of the show, not now. What are we here for?
Oh, we're talking about relationships.
Relationships?
Yeah, your guys and my guys.
You're killing me. But seriously, we talk about relationships.
Fashion.
Anything interesting that's really going to highlight us as human beings?
I want to talk about my diet because I realize your stomach is protruding.
Definitely need to speak for yourself. St. Lucia, hold on. This is me, Heshwak. Every Saturday here and Choice. Like it.
Live it.
Love it.
And we are here every Saturday. Check us out. It's going to be fun, exciting, and very informative. Oh, wow. Your hair, you're trying to make a statement with your dreads?
Sweetie, you know me. It ain't got sugar, it ain't right.
Great deal on my furniture. Great stuff. Super strong. Best thing on the market.
Your furniture says a lot about your business. For best quality, durability, and style, Global Office Furniture from Renwick is the only choice for any serious business. Don't be fooled by cheap supplies from other commercial houses. Let Global Furniture speak for your business. Think Renwick and Company. Think global, because value is always in style.
I'm often asked, what's the best part of my job? And I'm quick to say, it's the tasty part. The presentation, the cooking, the creativity, the quality. The moment I peek to see another satisfied guest and client in all possible settings, cutting, biting, sharing, and smiling, knowing our team at GCG Events is simply outstanding.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. So Lisa, before the break, you mentioned something that I get really passionate about, right? Confidentiality.
Yes.
Especially on the part of HR professionals. So you were saying that persons tend to have a concern as it relates to that, and they're not confident that sharing with HR is the best course of action for them. So talk to me a little bit about that and your experience with a situation related to that.
Well, people talk, and they assume because they talk that everybody else talks. So what I have learned in my studies, and I actually did my thesis on that topic, was that having someone who is neutral or not part of that work environment might be the better approach for an employer when it comes to having a dispute resolution system in the workplace.
Right.
So you have someone who's far removed from the talk, the lunchtime talk, the bathroom talks, the office talks.
So I guess people would be more willing to share.
Yes.
Because they would feel that you're more balanced in your
Right.
your assessment of what has happened, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes, that's one of the options, because people figure if I do it, you do it too.
Right.
So that can definitely make them not want to open up. But you have a meeting, I'm sure you've experienced it. You have a meeting, you ask do you have any questions? Do you have any issues? Nope. It's quiet. You can hear a mouse lick ice.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then...
I can definitely relate to that. I have had to deal with a few of those issues, yes.
Yes. Then you hear the talk about, and then
Yeah.
you feel the like you're walking on eggshells, and you're wondering, but what's going on? I asked, are there any issues? Do you have any questions? So.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess to some extent as well, it's about the level of comfort that persons have.
Yes.
So with the internal persons, they may not necessarily feel very comfortable to share the core reasons for their behavior.
Yes.
But they would be more open to share with someone else.
Yes.
So, so there you have it. It is definitely beneficial to use, resources such as the resolvers.
That's right.
To address some of your more difficult situations that you may not necessarily feel comfortable or able to address. So, Lisa, tell us, how can you be contacted? If anybody wants to reach you, to make use of your services, tell our viewers how they can reach you.
Okay, I can be reached telephone number 287-8750. Also, my website is theresolversadr.com, or they can send me an email, lisa@theresolversadr.com.
Okay, great. So I'm hoping that persons, after watching this episode, will understand that there is a need. We do have a need for services like yours. We do have a need for us to be open to different ways of addressing conflict.
Yes.
And it starts with each and every one of us. It starts at the individual level, and we can take it on to the family level, and the employer taking responsibility
Yes.
to ensure that we create a working environment that is conducive.
Yes.
And we minimize the opportunity for conflict, at least negative conflict.
Negative conflict, that's
to
right.
occur. Yes, because we do encourage some positive conflict sometimes, keep the brains working.
Yes.
So, Lisa, it's been an absolute pleasure having you. I'm so happy that you agreed to join us on this program. And we wish you all the best in your endeavors with the resolvers.
Thank you. Thank you, Gority.
This takes us to the end of this episode. So thank you so much for staying with us, and we look forward to having you again on our next episode of The Office.